So on the track now, we do have our women's D mile with hip number 1, Watts of Ballarat YCW. Number 2, Donaldson of Independent. Number 3, Fairy of Geelong Guild. Number 4, Pounding of Oldsavarians. Number 5, Newen of Independent. Number 6, Smith of Box Hill. Number 7, Creamers de Boa of Sandringham. Number 8, Black of Glen Huntly. Number 9, Donaldson of Independent. Number 10, Black of Glen Huntly. Number 11, George Murphy of Melbourne University. Number 12, Coleman of Ringwood. Number 13, Michelle of Independent. 14, Ostick Smith, Independent. 15, Hodder, Independent. And rounding it out at number 16 is Elam of Box Hill. This is your women's D mile event. So we're underway here in the women's D mile event, and we'll let these ladies sort themselves out. And so as we had earlier, and we're now blessed once again on the microphone, we do have Isaac Bibile, a YouTube sensation. We'll get into that at some point tonight. But Isaac, how'd you find your race?
Yeah, it was all right. Pace was pretty quick, not used to that. Usually do the 15s and 3Ks, and that first 200 was just rapid, about 27 flat, which is pretty quick for me. So it's definitely a shock to the system.
My goodness. Look, you look good there. The pace was hot as we just turn our attention quickly onto the track, and it is Fairy, who has actually put about 35 metres on the rest of this women's field early. So they're nicely strung out, going to figure it out as we go along, but Fairy not waiting for anyone as the rest of the pack is literally in single file. So that means that the pace is hot. So we're going to have to wait and see how they go. How do you like it, Isaac? You rather it in the single file? You want to be pushing and shoving? How do you like it?
Oh, for me, I've got the longest stride, so it's probably better to be in a single file rather than in the pack. It's a bit safer for me, so I think it's probably good that it's strung out like this.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit easier, and you're also not going to get disqualified that way, so that's always an important start. But as we see Fairy here, she's going to come down through the first 400 in about 65, I reckon, at the time we look at the clock. Our Box Hill athletes sitting there in second and third with hip number 6 and 16. That will be Smith and Elam. So Smith and Elam are going to be the ones chasing down Fairy. The rest of the pack is sort of broken up a little bit here. We're finding it a little bit trickled out in the women's D mile race. But Fairy, there's no disputing who's leading this race and leading with authority. She is leading it out from Smith of Box Hill, and so too working with her is Elam. So I'm assuming that these two are training partners. I don't know if you know, Isaac.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they both train with SAS, so both Steve Ellinghouse
so
coach.
they're your training partners.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big
so?
squad. Yeah, I've got a big squad, so
you
people
know
floating in and out.
A modest man in Isaac Babili. So training partners of Isaac Babili actually in second and third. If you had to pick, then you've got Elam and Smith. Who do you think will finish on top out of the two?
Well, it's probably tough at the moment to tell with so long to go in the race, but Elam's got the sit, so it's probably a good spot for her to be in, but I guess Smith has a bit of a gap at the moment, so that could just keep stretching.
That's it. They're starting to stretch it out a little bit now. So she's starting to make a little bit of a move on Fairy. I apologise if I've got your name wrong. There's a strong chance that I have. But it is Fairy who's going to lead us through, and starting to move through a little bit now is going to be Smith. So Smith may be picking up a little bit of distance. So too is going to be Coleman of Oldsavarians. And now we see Elam dropping back just a little bit there. So Watts as well of Ballarat YCW is going to lead that. I'll call it the second or third pack. And there's a little bit of movement. So 30-metre lead. Turn it into 20 metres. Can it be halved again in this next lap? Smith starting to maybe move through Isaac. I mean, she looks pretty strong there in second, but so too does Fairy at the front.
Yeah, it could be a good front-running performance here. It could be a gun-to-tape win here.
We've seen a few gun-to-tapes. The gun-to-tape has been almost in fashion, you would say, for tonight. Lauren Ryan, obviously the biggest of them all we've seen of the evening, but we could be seeing another big one here as I say that now. Smith, 20 metres into 15 maybe. So she's starting to stretch away from the athlete in third from Oldsavarians, and that is Pounding. So starting to move away from Pounding a little bit now. So it could be a race in two 500 metres left to go in this women's mile event. Farry done so much work out in front. As we said, she could be going for the gun to tape, but Smith may be the only one to be able to peg her back. So 30 metres to 20. Now let's call it 10. So 4:12, 4:13 on the clock. We're going to see 4:15. So 2-3 seconds between them. Can Smith peg back Farry? Right behind them there is our Old Zaverians athlete in Coleman. So Coleman now sitting in third. Maybe she gets the wheels moving. Farry done a bit of work. 10 metres into 8 metres, into 7, into 6. So Smith starting to move now. Farry done so much work. Smith still got a bit to do with 300 metres to go. So if she's got a kick, she's going to want to try and break some spirits soon. As I say that, speaking about kicks, Coleman maybe in that third place position can get absolutely moving here with 250 metres to go. Farry now down to 2 metres ahead of Smith. So Farry got it right now. 200 metres to go. 4:56 on the clock. Farry, Smith, Coleman. That's going to be your race in 3. Coleman with a bit more work to do than the rest of them, but it is still Farry gritting the teeth around the Ellinghouse corner right now. 150 metres to go. Is Farry going to lead it out? Smith now, though. Maybe she's about to show her class and power, the Box Hill athlete, so she's going to come up on the shoulder of Farry. 100 metres to go. Isaac's training partner. Here she comes. He's been quiet and modest, but here comes Smith. 100 metres. No way. No smoke at all. She wants the whole thing. So Smith now 15 metres, 20 metres, stretching it out. It's going to be a win here for Box Hill. The first of the night for a Box Hill athlete. And Smith going to take it home in the women's D mile in 5:38. Farry, who did a lot of work, going to come through for second. A quick mover, and Donaldson as well for third, as the rest of our ladies make their way through. But Smith bided her time extremely well. Farry, tough racing. We're going to have to settle for second. And that was pretty good.
A lot of fast finishes there. A few people finishing pretty quickly over the line and getting the dips over, even though they're not in the photo finish. Everyone's trying to get every bit of time they can get. So
I guess that's what you get here, isn't it? You squeeze out everything you've got, and that's why everybody keeps coming back. Now, Isaac, tell us about your YouTube adventure. You obviously run the YouTube channel that is very advantageous for runners everywhere to be able to get an insight into the world of a teenage runner. How's it all tracking?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. Almost at 1,000 subscribers. Started
so what's
at 0.
the name?
Just my name, Isaac Biblay. So just search it up on YouTube and you'll find it. And yeah, got about 920 subs at the moment, so getting close to the 1K, and it's been going pretty well. A bit over a year now, I think. So yeah, it's been growing steadily, and it's pretty happy with how it's going, and I think it's doing what I wanted, which is trying to grow the running community and kind of influence people about that there's more to running than just people going for a jog around the block. So trying to show the non-runners that, you know, what we do in our lives and how we train.
Yeah, great. Well. It's an awesome idea. So is the inspiration behind it was just to show people that it's not just jogging, or did you cop a little bit of heat from some people for being a runner, or what? What was the direct inspiration to get this started?
Yeah, definitely a bit of both. I think, you know, running isn't kind of seen as a huge, you know, one of the main sports here in Australia. I guess footy kind of dominates, and then, you know, cricket and basketball. So it was good to get the running kind of community growing there. So I was pretty happy with the initial reaction at the start of the channel, and now it's just continuing to grow.
Beautiful.